Hello, it's Viv from BNC Camera. Do you have a passion for photographing fascinating creatures? This video is for everyone who photographs wildlife. It can take years to perfect the skills needed to capture amazing photos regularly. In this video, we'll reveal the secrets for getting great shots, from ideal wildlife lighting to the best methods for capturing once-in-a-lifetime moments. So whatever your level of experience is, if you're searching for a way to take your wildlife photography to the next level, then X marks this spot. Let's get this safari started. Get to know your equipment. This is common advice, but it's 100% true. The most exciting action-packed moments in wildlife photography last, on average, 5 to 20 seconds. You'll either miss the shot or destroy the photographs you do manage to capture if you're not well versed with your camera's settings or lens capabilities. So, know the bare minimum before you start. Number 1. The minimum shutter speed to freeze action. Number 2. How your camera's shutter speed interacts with the stabilization in your lens, if your lens offers it. Number 3. How quickly can you toggle between focus modes and focus points within those modes? And 4. How vast your ISO range is and how far you can push it without ruining your images. You must now be able to make most, if not all, of the required adjustments to your exposure and focus settings without removing your eye from the viewfinder. This way, you make modifications on the go without fumbling and perhaps missing the action. Educate yourself on what type of wildlife you're shooting. Because much wildlife photography is based on capturing fleeting instances of living history, it's a good idea to be able to anticipate your subject's actions ahead of time. Not every animal species is as regular as the next. However, each species has its own set of behavioral patterns hardwired in it. Knowing your subject might make all the difference between capturing that golden moment and watching it pass by in disappointment. Spend some quality time with your subject. If the one you're looking at or photographing isn't providing enough, don't just hang around for a few minutes and look for another subject. Spend time with animals. Keep an eye on what's going on in the environment. Wait it out. Patience is a virtue, and you won't regret it. Learn the norms of wildlife photography, but don't be afraid to invent your own. To begin, you should understand the fundamentals, exposure and the histogram, as well as compositional rules, such as the rule of thirds. Immerse yourself in them. To capture fleeting moments, you must be able to control both exposure and composition. Eye contact is considered essential for photographs of animals since it adds life to the picture. You might take this a step further in bird photography. The head should be positioned at least parallel to the camera sensor, and if possible, turned a few degrees toward the viewer. It's time to start breaking the rules once you know what they are and when and how to implement them. Experiment with compositional methods and depths of field. Explore the parameters. When the light is perfect, snap a photo. Stick to the golden hours, i.e. the time just after sunrise and before sunset. The harsh light of midday, mostly between 11 and 4, is often unpleasant to look at. On overcast days, clouds function like a big softbox, filtering out light evenly. On those days, you can shoot all day, as long as there are willing subjects. In wildlife photography, you must understand how to use the light in your favor. You're often in a position where light isn't ideal, or the light is excellent but comes from the wrong direction, and you aren't in a position to move to a better location. The good news is that bright light from the wrong angle can dramatically improve an image's mood. Don't be scared to take pictures from a wide perspective. Many wildlife photographers get caught up in the focal length debate, when it becomes a fixation to have the longest or biggest lens available. I understand that this is location specific, since you'll need a big lens to capture anything in some wide open places. However, wildlife photographers tend to be too concerned with ultra-tight framing, resulting in sterile and uninteresting photographs with a perfectly smooth background and no sense of the subject's context. Instead, aim to take wider shots. By shooting further away, provide a better understanding of where you took the picture and where your subject resides. This works for any animal species, including squirrels, deer, and elephants. Include several subjects in one shot. There's no need for a lengthy explanation. In wildlife photography, 2 is better than 1, and 3 is best when food or shelter are involved. If you have an excellent vantage point of multiple animals from the same species, hang around. It's a good idea to photograph your subjects interacting, if at all possible. Get low. Every novice should commit this crucial wildlife photography technique to memory. In wildlife photography, it's crucial to consider your perspective. Do you prefer to shoot from a high vantage point? Do you take photographs from a standing position? Are you flat against the ground when taking pictures? Each choice will yield a distinct outcome, some of which will be far more striking than others. Here's what's recommended. Shoot at eye level or lower if possible. This places the viewer of your photograph in action, creating a personal connection and allowing them to see the world through your subject's eyes. Obviously, eye level depends on the situation. You'll generally be lower than eye level with a giraffe, for example, but you get the idea. Always keep in mind your surroundings limits. You are not permitted to leave your car in most South African reserves, which restricts your viewpoint to a certain degree. Be patient. Wildlife photography is a challenge, and anything might happen at any moment and occur every once in a while. You must learn to be patient, very patient. Try to enjoy the experience and not put too much pressure on getting every single shot you dreamed of, which brings us to be present and have fun. You must be in the moment. You shouldn't get caught up in technical difficulties or settings to the point that you don't notice the beauty around you while photographing birds and wildlife. Be aware of your right to enjoy nature's beauty. Enjoy your time in locations where humans haven't quite exerted their entire presence, and have an absolute ball.